today I'm bringing you how to calculate your macros, your total calories, how to distribute them into protein, fats, carbs. Been getting a lot of questions on this recently, whether people are cutting or bulking, they just don't know how to distribute their calories properly. So that's what I'm bringing you today. So first off, you want to calculate your BMR, your basic metabolic rate. There's a couple different formulas that you can use online to calculate your calories for you. I don't know how accurate they are, so I like to do it myself with a formula that is very well studied. So to calculate your basic metabolic rate, I'm going to put the formula that I use right here. From there, you want to select your activity level and multiply your BMR by your activity level. And this is going to give you your TDEE, or total daily energy expenditure, which is your total calories for the day for maintenance level. So just to basically stay at your weight that you're at now. So once you get this number, you want to distribute them into proteins, fats, and carbs. So first off, we got protein. General rule of thumb, you want to go a gram per pound of body weight, whether you're cutting or bulking, because this kind of, gives a little cushion room. So if you're cutting, you want a little bit more protein. So like a gram per pound of body weight to all the way up to like 1.4 potentially to preserve muscle. But the thing is as you drop your weight, so like let's say you start like a 200-pound guy starts cutting, and he sets his protein at 200 grams. And as he cuts, he cuts down to like, let's say 180. Well, his protein is still going to be at 200. So it's going to be in that threshold of like a little bit more than a gram per pound of body weight. So, that covers that. And then, like, let's say then he like bulks up to 230 or something, and his protein is still at 200 grams. Well, the threshold is still going to be the same. So when you're bulking, it's usually like 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. And if you're cutting, it's like 1 to 1.4. These numbers can vary, based on different studies, who you talk to. General rule of thumb, this is what I believe. So I like to keep protein, just smack dab in the middle, whether you're cutting or bulking, and just keep it constant. So from here, you want to select your fats. So anywhere from 20 to 35% of your total daily energy expenditure calories should be from fat. So if you're an athlete, you want to stick more towards the bottom of that range. So more towards the 20%. If you are just, generally living, just want to be healthy, you can go anywhere from like 30 to 35%. This basically regulates your hormones, make sure that your sex hormones and other functions in your body are running properly. So let's take the same 200-pound guy. He is an athlete. So we're going to put him around 20 to 25% of his total calories. So what he's going to do is basically multiply his total calories by 0.2 to 0.25. He's going to get that number. That's going to be his total calories from fat. Fat has 9 calories per gram. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take this number and divide by 9, and that's going to give us our grams of fat. So once we have our protein and our fat set, we want to then calculate carbs. Carbs should be around 50% of your total calories. So basically how we're going to calculate this is we're going to take our total calories from protein, our total calories from fat, and we're going to add them together. So remember, protein has 4 calories per gram, so do carbs, and fat has 9 calories per gram. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our protein in grams, multiply that by 4. We're going to get that number. We're going to take our calories from fat, which we already calculated as the 20 to 35%. We're going to add those together, and we're going to subtract from our total daily energy expenditure calories. This is going to give us our total calories that we need from carbs. So then since carbs have 4 calories per gram of carb, we are going to divide that number by 4, and that is going to give us our grams of carbs for the day. So general rule of thumb, obviously this can vary based on a lot of different stuff, but it should be around maybe like 25% fat, 25% protein, and 50% carbs. You can play with these. You can, some people do a lot more protein. You can do keto where you're doing like no carbs. There's a lot of different stuff out there, but general rule of thumb, I like to get an adequate amount of all 3 macros. So this is, just a solid foundation that you can base, and branch off of. So now we're going to talk about how to adjust them for fat loss and muscle gain. So first off, fat loss, the general rule is that 3,500 calorie deficit over the course of a week is going to result in 1 pound of body weight of fat loss. So basically that breaks down into a 500 calorie deficit per day. So we're going to take our total daily energy expenditure and subtract 500 from that to get our total calories for the day. And that's if you want to lose a pound per week. So because our protein is staying the same, we're going to have to subtract these calories mostly from carbs and a little bit from fat. So we want to keep the same percentage of total calories from fat. So adjust accordingly. And but in general, most of our calories are going to be reduced from carbs. So the 500 calorie deficit is going to be like a baseline. We're going to start at that. And then from there, once your weight stalls, you step on the scale, you weigh yourself like once a week. Once you go like 1 weekend, the scale hasn't moved or, it's gone up or something, then we're going to decrease another wave of calories. So I generally like to do 10% of the total calories, and we're going to reduce that. So let's say we're at 3,600 calories. We're going to take 360 calories off of that, and that's going to be their new calories. However, if somebody is still losing weight and they're still losing fat, it doesn't just go off of scale, it also goes off of the mirror. And this is why progress pics are, really important. So if somebody is clearly losing fat over the course of this, we don't want to fix anything that's not broken. So there's no point in continuously dropping calories if, somebody is still losing that weight, unless they are doing like a rapid mini cut and they want to get their calories really low, just to resensitize, insulin and for other reasons. But in general, you don't really want to decrease calories unless somebody is, not losing fat anymore. Now on to muscle gain. So for muscle gain, we want to increase calories gradually, based on how fast you want to gain. If you don't care about fat gain, whatever, you can, adjust accordingly. But in general, I like to increase calories anywhere from 150 calories to 500 calories based on how fast and, how much time we really have to grow. And similar to cutting, once the scale stalls, once we're not gaining anymore, we're going to up calories a little bit more. You can still use the 10% rule, meaning that you can take the 10% of the calories that you currently have and add that. So you're basically, if somebody was bulking on 3,600 calories, you add that 360 instead of taking it away if you're cutting. And also similar to cutting, a majority of the calories are going to be adjusted from the carbs. So, since protein stays the same, we're going to increase our calories mostly from carbs and a little bit from fat just to keep that same ratio, 20 to 35%. But again, most of the increase is going to be from carbs. There are also ways that you can, carb cycle or even calorie cycle. So, you have certain days that are a little bit lower than other ones. Maybe, you have higher calorie days when you're training like a bigger body part and lower when you're training a smaller body part or you're resting. But that doesn't mean you don't eat at all when you're resting, because that's when you grow. So on your off days or your rest days, you still want to be eating an adequate amount of calories. You don't want to drop it down to nothing and then only eat on your training days. That doesn't make any sense. You need, fuel for your workout to really perform well and break down that muscle, but you also need that food to recover and build that muscle or preserve that muscle if you're cutting. So guys, that is it. If you like this, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I really appreciate all the support. Please, reach out if you have any recommendations of what you would like to hear next. I'm all ears. So I hope you guys have a great day and hope you learned something from this.